Hello, everybody. Welcome to Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forest. Grab yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea and spend the next few minutes with me. What do I always say? Don't believe everything you hear and check your facts. Do your own research. What that means is don't believe everything you hear because I might not be telling you the truth. You never know. Don't you want to know what my butterflies are saying? I think you do. Don't you want to know why my butterflies are talking? This is Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forest. Ha ha. That is some good water. Hey everybody, what's happening? What's crack-a-lackin'? I'm wondering what's shaking. Man, my voice is so fried. Allergies, everything else under the sun. So hopefully I get my voice back soon because I have a concert coming up in a couple of weeks. But today I wanted to talk to you about depression and bipolar illness. And I'll be brief. I think I went way over on my last video. I didn't mean to, but Michael Jackson and Prince and drug addiction, all that needed to be said out loud in case some people really don't know what's happening. Then you can go and check your facts. But if you've noticed more and more, God, excuse me, you guys and girls, if you've noticed over the last, I don't know, few years or so, a lot of stars and other famous celebrities and just people in general are coming out of the closet talking about their depression. Wayne Brady was just on Dr. Oz a while ago. You know, Robin Williams committed suicide. And then we have various other stars that are coming out talking about their depression or bipolar depression or whatnot. And mental illness is something that is still stigmatized. I mean, it's like you'd want people to call you anything on the planet except crazy. Now, of course, you have friends and you'll say like, man, that girl is whack. Oh man, she's so crazy. He's so crazy. Well, that kind of crazy is like the fun crazy. They're exotic, they're extreme, they're adrenaline junkies and things like that. But when you are literally talking about somebody's mental state and you refer to them as mentally ill, everybody is always, dun, dun, dun. Oh my God, he's mentally ill. What is he going to do? Is he going to go postal? Is he going to shoot everybody? Is he going to go bananas? Because you're seeing this more and more and more in the news, the real news, the fake news, whatever news you're reading, people are going bananas. And after they go out and commit these mass shootings, if it's not because of ISIS or some other such nonsense, I'm not saying that's nonsense, you know what I mean. But if it's not ISIS or some kind of terrorist garbage and crap going on, you find out later on that this person was on either Prozac or Cymbalta, Effexor, you know, all kinds of other different drugs to try to treat their depression. And one thing people do is when they feel better, they stop taking the medication. And that's when you send your body and your brain into full-on crazy mode because you stop taking these pills cold turkey. Now you could have a heart attack or a stroke, just a mental meltdown, cock your gun, and just go and shoot a bunch of innocent people. So lots of times after these weird, crazy, violent shootings, when you dig deeper, you find that this person was suffering from manic depressive, bipolar, whatnot. So I found a very interesting article in Real Health, and you can see this beautiful lady on the front is actually Spike Lee's wife. But this topic is about the enigma of extreme mood swings. Okay, now it says here, although bipolar disorder is hard for many to understand, mental health experts have learned much more about this perplexing mental illness in recent years. So here it says, their names read like a who's who of talent. You have Alvin Ailey, Lisa Nicole Carson, DMX, Daryl Strawberry, Jesse Jackson Jr., Nina Simone, Jimi Hendrix. Each of these very different people struggled with the same mental health condition that affects an estimated 2.3 million people in the United States. Did you hear that? There are 2.3 million people, not in the world. We're talking about the United States of America are suffering from bipolar disorder. Now, I'm just going to read a little bit of this article briefly just to give you an idea of what to go and look up and study, because I'm sure that at least one person watching this episode right now either knows somebody who is suffering from mental illness, or they are somebody that suffers from mental illness. And to tell you the truth, it's not funny. It's not funny. I can't even imagine having umpteen personalities and losing time and doing things that I would not normally do, because there are some things that are shifting around in my brain that aren't supposed to be. So this article here, it says bipolar disorder, and now it has a nickname, BD, which is just, I don't know, it's weird to me. But it's also called BD, or it's referred to as manic depressive disorder. Now, individuals with this illness experience great swings in mood. They go from being severely depressed to being euphoric or manic. And the condition is not always easy to diagnose. Now, oftentimes an individual may seek medical assistance when they're depressed without knowing that the root cause of his or her condition may very well be bipolar disorder. Now, conversely, the euphoric stage of the illness may be associated with high energy or sometimes bizarre behavior that could include reckless sexual decisions, drug use, pathological overspending, and criminal activity. Now, some of you that are skeptical about mental illness, because there are people that are skeptical, they'll say, and you've heard it, come on with me now, you've heard it, they'll say, oh, she's just faking like she's crazy so she can get a crazy check. I've heard that so many times throughout my life, it's ridiculous. People automatically think that, oh, well, you know what? She's not really crazy. She's just plain crazy so she can get a check. She just wants to not work, and she's just lazy, and he doesn't want to work, and, he's this and he's that. But mental illness is very real. Now, doctors still, after all this time, doctors still aren't quite sure why some individuals develop bipolar disorder. Now, I have a little something to say about that, because you know how the saying goes, you are what you eat. Well, a lot of us actually do have food allergies that we aren't aware of. Every time you eat a certain thing, you might feel a little bit different, but it's not so severe that you stop doing that thing. You know what I mean? So lots of times, like they say, you are what you eat. Food allergies can trigger all kinds of things. I'm not going to get off into a GMO rant, because I love to do that. But food has a lot to do with what's going on in our body. And actually, I won't say food has a lot to do with it. The ingredients that go into the making of your food have a lot to do with how you feel mentally and physically. Now, I'm not saying that what you eat is the cause of mental illness. I'm just saying that you are what you eat. And when you start looking at here I go. When you start looking at all the high fructose corn syrup, You know, vegetable oil is one of the additives in Gatorade. You have MSG, you know, you have the aspartame that goes into, I don't know if they still put it in Pepsi or Coke or not because I don't drink that stuff, but you have all these poisons, fluoride, chloride, you know, you have all these poisons that are going into your body. On top of that, if you're on medication already, each different medication has a side effect. So you're just getting messed up all over the place, you know? But doctors still aren't quite sure why some individuals develop bipolar disorder, because everybody doesn't have it. But if you're looking at the news and the presidential campaign and all this stuff going on with the bombings, everything in Syria, you would think that the whole world is bipolar at this point. But anyway, health experts confirm that there are 4 types of this particular mental illness. And it's defined by the duration of cycling of each mood. Now, bipolar 1 disorder and bipolar 2 disorder and bipolar disorder, not otherwise specified as cyclothymic disorder. That's cyclothymic disorder. Sometimes an individual is depressed or manic for many, many months, while other times these phases persist for only a few days or months. Now, extreme mood swings of bipolar disorder, that can create huge issues at home, at work, at school, and just in life in general. Now, currently, there is no magic pill or treatment or regimen available to cure bipolar disorder. And finding that right combination of available drugs for treatment can be a challenge. Because you know what? A lot of people are in denial and they know something is wrong, but they're too embarrassed to admit it. And that's really sad, because we should be in a world where the instant somebody notices there is something wrong with you, they get involved. Not because they're being nosy or they want to judge you or laugh at you. They're getting involved because they want you to get better. You understand? They want to help you get better and feel better. You know, so many of the drugs given to patients suffering only from depression will not work on bipolar patients. You see? So you have to get treated for both things. Not to mention, whatever pill you're taking for the first thing is going to have side effects. And what you're taking for the second thing is also going to have side effects. So you have that to deal with. And many psychiatrists initially prescribe mood stabilizers such as lithium, which is actually a naturally occurring element, or they prescribe you anticonvulsant drugs used to treat epilepsy. So you're giving your bipolar patient that doesn't have seizure medication to control their bipolarism, which is odd. And let me tell you something else. Delaying treatment can result in a poorer outcome for those who suffer with bipolar disorder. So I want to read you this brief article real quick, and it's called Evolution of a Mental Illness. And this is a brief history of bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder has been with us since the earliest of times. The ancient Greeks and Romans coined the words mania and melancholia. And that's actually a movie that I think Kirsten Dunst was the star in, called Melancholia. It's actually a good movie. You might want to check that out. But they use words like mania and melancholia to describe the two extreme moods people with bipolar disorder exhibit. Now today, the terms used are manic and depressive. Mike Tyson. The term bipolar refers to the polar opposites of mania and depression. The ups and downs that people have with this have been well studied illness experience. Now, bipolar first appeared in the third revision of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which was published in 1980, and it effectively replaced maniac as a term for people with BD, bipolar disorder. You see, it wasn't manic, it was actually maniac, and they changed it. So years ago, many people with bipolar disorder were believed to be possessed by the devil. You get that? You see someone talking to themselves, they're possessed by the devil. Look up, I think Jessica Lange. Is Jessica Lange? I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Check your facts, do your research. But I believe that Jessica Lange actually did the movie, gosh darn it, was it Frances Farmer? I can't really remember right now. And then also remember the one Kennedy sister that they just ousted. I think she passed away a couple of years ago, but she had mental illness. And there's been rumors for years how they purposely messed her up because she knew what was happening with the family and wasn't cool with it and all that kind of stuff. But, but people thought that if you had a mental illness that you were possessed by demons, possessed by the devil, and you were shunned or hidden away in asylums, in an insane asylum as a result. Then, in the 1850s, French psychiatrists Jules Berlager and Jean-Pierre Ferret helped develop a better understanding of mental illness. Now, their work expanded the theory that bipolar disorder existed along a spectrum or range that reflects different degrees of the condition based on the combination of systems manifested. Now, the controversial concept with psychiatrists still debate, which arranges bipolar disorder in 4 main classifications, each containing additional subtypes. Now, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, the more specific breakdown of the disorder's signs and symptoms can help doctors properly diagnose and treat people with bipolar disorder so they're better able to lead healthy and productive lives. So that is your bipolar education for the day. You might want to go out and do some reading about that because, there's lots of different types of mental illness on this planet. And I would also like to say that a lot of times mental illness is onset from a trauma. It could be a robbery, a rape, being molested as a kid. I just had the pleasure of watching The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And I read that story several years ago because it's actually not new news. It probably is for some people. But one thing about Oprah Winfrey's character, she played the daughter, the youngest daughter. I think Henrietta passed away when she was 2. But she played the youngest daughter, and it got deep into the story about how they were abused and whipped by the aunt and uncle that were supposed to be good to them, and how she was, raped and beaten up, repeatedly by a family member. And throughout this documentary movie, it showed her swinging back and forth with mental illness. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2009 before the book was even released. She died in her sleep of a heart attack, from what they say. But, plenty of times your circumstances will contribute to your mental illness. That's another reason why it's not good to hold things in. Because, see, when you hold in your feelings and your emotions, that's when you explode. I think oftentimes if we felt safe where we were, that we could actually turn to somebody talk to somebody and get help before it's too late. You know, a lot of these high school shootings and these shooters are on all kinds of off the wall medications that they don't take like they're supposed to, you know, and they have to make a cocktail to figure out what's even going to work for your brain. Because, you know, some people are allergic to aspirin. Some people are allergic to Tylenol. Every pill doesn't work for everybody. You know, it's just like some people can try a drug the first time, not like it, and not do it anymore. They can try the drug the first time and like it and know that it's bad and not do it anymore. And then you have other people, and I wouldn't say that they're weak or weak-minded, because everybody is different. But you have other people that'll try something, and man, just like that, they are hooked. And a lot of times, drugs, illegal street drugs, will contribute to mental illness and schizophrenia. So if you know somebody who is suffering, you know, from bipolarism, manic depression, whatever it is, you know, before you judge them and put them down and treat them like they're just the drugs of the earth, do some research. Talk to that person. Find out what their life experiences have been, because there are usually reasons behind somebody's mental malfunction, you know. And on that note, my people, I'm going to say good day. Thank you so much for watching my show. I appreciate it. You can go to any website and buy my book, Angels Passing Through. It's a very good book. Stories are very positive. Outcomes are great. And it'll uplift you, make you feel much better. So on that note, I am smelling like a rose. I'm just kidding. I am so very grateful for everything, and I'm grateful for you too. So go out into the world and be fabulous like you are. And I am fabulous because you are fabulous. So take care, God bless, and I will see you next time on Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forest. See you later.